We all remember the great tornado that ripped through Wichita Falls in 1979, fundamentally changing our lives. But a few decades earlier, in September of 1950, another kind of tornado, a cultural tornado, hit Wichita Falls, changing our city forever.
In the year 1950, amidst the post-war backdrop of Wichita Falls, Texas, a pair of immigrants arrived, each carrying a rich tapestry of dance traditions and dreams. Irina Kladovova, renowned as Czechoslovakia's prima ballerina, and Frank Karanek, hailing from Hungary and steeped in the time-honored Russian dance traditions, had crossed oceans and borders to pursue their artistic passions. Together, they adopted the surname Pal, signifying their new beginning in America.
What they brought with them was a fierce energy and breathtaking beauty at a level so professional that ballet in Wichita Falls rose to heights not dreamed of before. Not only were they trained in the classical style of Russian ballet, they also studied and performed popular folk dance styles from Czechoslovakia, Russia, Italy, Germany, and other European countries. But in Wichita Falls, they primarily brought classical ballet to a community that was culturally parched from lack of it.
Irina began teaching dance at Gross Studios that same year, with Frank joining her 6 months later. Together, they aimed to build a high level of professionalism in dance from scratch.
When Frank told a ballet friend in Boston that he and Irina were leaving New England to live and teach in Texas, the friend said, "You will die a cultural death in Texas." Frank said, "Maybe so," in his thick Middle European accent. "But when I die, all the cows in Texas will be standing in fifth position."
Their efforts bore fruit, as Miss Gross's studio grew from 90 to 200 students by 1952, gaining acclaim for its technical excellence in ballet. In 1952, both pals joined Midwestern University, establishing a dance department, and by 1963, the dance company was incorporated and Wichita Falls Ballet Theater was born, staging many memorable performances like Swan Lake and the first performance of The Nutcracker, accompanied by Wichita Falls Symphony Orchestra. In 1973, they had constructed a permanent 3,500 square foot theater for the ballet. Irina and Frank also continued to make an impact on the dance community nationwide, with many master classes and guest dance opportunities. In 1988, Gary Boehm and Patricia Thornton took over as the new directors, continuing the growing legacy. Patricia Thornton was a student who had trained with the Pals and had a career in the Stuttgart Ballet. Gary Boehm danced with Joffrey Ballet too, along with American Ballet Theater, Cleveland Ballet, Harkness Ballet, and Frankfurt Ballet. They owned satellite Boehm Academy of Ballet Arts in Olney and Seymour.
I studied under Frank and Irina Pal when I first moved here to Wichita Falls in 1963. Years later, my daughter, now Courtney Wagner, studied under Gary and Patty Boehm. Courtney remembers that Patty taught her discipline and the importance of concentration. Gary made the dancing fun. He always chose music that inspired movement, and all the students loved that.
During their time, WFBT was one of 30 ballet companies recognized nationally as an honor company by Regional Dance America. Throughout the 1990s, They were among the top 3 companies invited to perform at the Regional Festival Gala for 10 consecutive years, solidifying the Wichita Falls Ballet Theater's place in American dance history. In 1990, the Regional Dance America honored Irina and Frank Powell for their contributions. In 1992, the RDA Festival was dedicated to Irina as a memorial after her passing. In 2013, Gary and Patricia retired, leaving Wichita Falls without a ballet studio briefly.
So in June 2013, the board had already decided maybe we needed to call the directors together and kind of say what's going on and we can raise the money. It seemed like they had kind of given up. Probably a week later, a letter came in the mail to my daughter, who was a dancer and company member, not to me as a board of directors, saying that the ballet theater was dissolved. So we put up a fight as far as fighting for the ballet to find new artistic directors.
So my phone rang one day in 2013, and Sue Ann Altman was on the line begging me to join the new board for the ballet theater. And I protested profusely, but was so glad that I was able to be a part of the rebuilding of the ballet theater. My daughter danced for probably 25 years. And while it was a very sad day when we got the letter and heard the ballet was dissolving, I think the saddest day for me was her last performance on stage.
The board of directors, led by Sue Ann Altman and Mary Ferguson, conducted a search, and in July 2013, Mishik and Valentine Liberatore took charge as the third couple to run WFBT, launching a Save the Ballet campaign.
There were some hurdles to cross. Val and Mishik were very fortunate that they had a connection to Cincinnati Ballet, and we wanted to purchase the Nutcracker sets and costumes from them. Problem was we had no place to put them, and so my husband and I kind of searched some buildings, called in a few favors, and were able to get a great space that we thought was so huge we would never outgrow this space. And now it is just crammed full of beautiful sets and costumes that have been acquired over the years and built locally that hopefully they'll continue to use and enjoy for a long time.
Under the Liberatores, the Wichita Falls Ballet Theater saw a revival. They brought back the full-length Nutcracker in 2016, collaborated with organizations in the community, and presented world premieres like Sleeping Beauty, Alice in Wonderland, Midsummer Night's Dream, Cinderella, and more.
Val and Mishik wanted to expand the ballet and what they did for the community, and I think adding what at the time was called Signature Series. It was very simple. There were no elaborate sets, simple costumes. It was just music and dancers. And that, too, has just evolved into a wonderful performance that is now called Wichita Falls Ballet Theater Presents. And it just gives a whole other dimension.
During their time at WFBT, many alumni have went on to dance for professional companies across the country. The dynamic leadership of Mishik and Valentine Liberatore has not only saved, but transformed the Wichita Falls Ballet Theater, breathing new life into this cherished institution. Their dedication, innovation, and commitment to the community has not only kept the art of classical ballet alive, but has also paved the way for countless aspiring dancers to pursue their dreams, leaving an enduring legacy that continues to enrich Wichita Falls and the world of dance.
I got involved with the Wichita Falls Ballet Theater about 10 years ago when Mary Ferguson asked me to serve on the board. As I got more involved with the board, I started to visit the studio more often, and I saw some of the rehearsals. And I can tell you, these dancers are athletes. There's so much more to the ballet than the performance on stage that you see. The dedication of the dancers, the commitment, the discipline they learn, the failures they go through, the successes they go through as a team, are lessons that they're going to take with them for the rest of their lives.